Hey guys, it's me, Halloween Dan, doing a really quick and impromptu video today because it kind of dawned on me earlier this week that there's a whole host of props both in the US and here in the UK that I have yet to talk about or review. Some of them are recent additions, some of them only really came out in the last week or so. Some of them, like the US one I'm going to talk about, came out like a month and a half ago and it slipped completely under my radar somehow and I completely missed it. So I just thought, we're getting to the end of September now, we're nearly in October, so I better just tie off all these loose ends, talk about these props, because some of them are really, really awesome. And yeah, let's just do this. So the first prop I want to talk about is one that is an American prop, and it's from Spirit Halloween, and I really don't know how I've managed to miss this prop, or how I've managed to not notice it, and that is Emmeline. Now, again, I don't really know how I've missed this prop. It is an awesome prop, but somehow I did. But I saw it the other day, I was like, oh my God, when did this come out? Oh my God, a month and a half ago. I better talk about this, because this is exactly the sort of prop that I love. And actually, had I had noticed this and not been in Cloud Cuckoo Land and somehow not seen this prop, I might have even included it in my top 10 props for 2023. It's that good. So if you've gone under the radar too with this prop and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, let me just talk about Emmeline for a second. This is a fantastic prop. So we've seen Mr. Dark from years ago, then he's had his reskin of Hellspawn this year. Really awesome props. And what I like about these props is their sort of vertical launch. They're triggered, they launch up into the air, terrifying, right? But what Emmeline does is take that vertical launch and make it a horizontal one. So instead of like just launching into the air, she's launching towards you. And that's terrifying. Now I like phantoms, so as on its own, without that, even without that movement, I like the look of this thing. I like the sort of spooky, scary, really quite frightening face mold on this prop. Obviously meant to look like a tormented spirit of some sort. Really cool look to this prop in general. But then add that horizontal launch. Terrifying. Like, you know, I think there'd be a few people with brown patches in their pants after seeing that. Sorry. But it's true. That would really terrify me if I saw that. You know, I wasn't expecting it. Really cool. And I don't know how I've missed it. I really don't. It is such a good prop. And I definitely think I would have included it in my top 10. Then we move to the UK, and these are things that I didn't miss, I've just not had a chance to really talk about. And the first store I'm going to talk about is one of my favourites in the UK, Asda. Asda, for years and years, going way back to when I very first started getting into Halloween, has always been sort of like the go-to supermarket, high street store that you would go to for your Halloween goodies and decorations and stuff. And over the years, Asda built up a massive reputation as being the go-to place if you wanted to get a really good quality life-size prop that wasn't overly expensive. But then over the last few years, that reputation, I felt, has eroded away a little. And last year they brought out, well, what the hell is this thing? I mean, what is that? I don't know what that is. But it wasn't worth buying, and it certainly wasn't worth like £60 or £65, whatever it was. It was a terrible prop. And I think Asda realised they'd made a mistake. That as much as we Halloween freaks here in the UK will buy almost anything that's Halloween related, that ain't worth £10, to be quite honest with you. I'm not sure who in Asda's marketing team thought that was a good idea, but it was a terrible idea. So yeah. I wasn't really looking forward to seeing what Asda brought out this year, in honesty, because I kind of thought, it's going to be worse than that. So, but then we were pleasantly surprised. Earlier on in the season, like August time, they started to reveal a few really cool static props and decorations and home furnishings and things. I bought 2 of them. I bought the Flaming Skull Stack, really awesome prop. I bought the tree plaque thing, okay, but not as good as the Flaming Skulls. Some really cool items. And then in the last week or so, week and a half, they've started dropping their more sort of bigger items, lots more costumes, lot more home decor items, and also a cool few new animatronic props. They brought out a really cool Hanging Reaper. The detail on this thing looks really good. So I'm liking the look of him, and he's only about £18. But the main prop to talk about is their life-size prop, which, like I say, recently, in recent years, have been a bit of a letdown. And then this year, Asda, in my opinion, have absolutely pulled it out of the bag in the form of their life-sized skeleton with dog. Oh, it's not the most unbelievable prop in the world, but for a high street store to be bringing out a prop that's only £65, that has the animatronic motion this has, and the phrasing, and just the cleverness of this prop in general, I don't think you can go far wrong. I've borrowed the footage as well. You will notice this is Haunted Skull's footage, so big shout out to Haunted Skull. If you don't follow Haunted Skull, go and follow Haunted Skull. He's an awesome guy, reviews all the props, and I've borrowed this footage from him, so that's what this is if you think you've seen it before. He bought the prop the other day and built it and made a video about it. Go and see that video. I'll leave the link in the description where he does a more full review of this thing. But look at this thing. This is an awesome prop. It's a skeleton, clearly. You know, you can't go wrong with a skeleton at Halloween. Dressed as almost like a graveyard keeper kind of, grave digger kind of guy. He's got that top hat. He's got the ruff around the neck. He's a really cool prop, standalone prop as it is. He's holding a lantern. I love a lantern, and this is a good lantern as well. The flicker flame effect in this lantern is on point. It is really, really good. And then he's got this little dog, which at first I kind of thought, did it need the dog? But then when I saw the action these two things have, they interact with one another. So he's saying phrases about watch my dog, or my dog's playing dead, and all these kind of fun phrases. And the dog's jaw moves, and he's barking and snarling, and they've both got red light up eyes that interchange as they're saying things. Really, really, really cool. And for £65, I don't think you can go far wrong in the UK for that sort of price. This is an awesome prop, and I'm not going to lie, if I happen to see it, this might end up falling into my basket. Then we've got Morrisons. Now, I haven't seen a great deal of what Morrisons have brought to the table. I am also going to a Morrisons today, so I might see it in real life.
A few moments later.
So once again, guys, Morrisons has got a really good range of stuff. I'm liking some of these props, some of these decorations. Some of these we saw last year. Some of them are new. What's going on? I don't know what that is. Let's turn him off. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I like this guy. Just a skull, but...
But they have, as well as bringing out a whole range of cool props and things, they've also got a really cool tombstone where a skull kind of pops out from behind it for like £20. So that's quite cool. But they've also brought back their animatronic line from last year. Now, Morrisons tend to not go for the life-sized animatronics. They tend to do like the 3 to 4 foot animatronics. Still really cool. That's where I got my Barry the Butler from like 8 years ago. So can't go wrong with the sort of smaller end animatronics they bring out. A returning favourite this year is the animated Haunted Doll. This footage is also from Haunted Skull, so once again, follow Haunted Skull if you don't. This is the Haunted Doll he bought from Morrisons last year. As you can see, the motion is basically, you've got a static doll, creepy doll noises, and then the head turns. It's a jump scare prop. It's that the head turns rapidly. You see the creepy doll's face with red glowing eyes. It's a really, really cool motion. It's probably one of the only store-bought jump scare props anywhere in the UK. Wilko did bring out a version of this doll this year, but of course Wilko's gone into administration, so very few people have actually managed to get their hands on the doll. So Morrisons have come along with this doll for a second year. Last year they brought out a clown as well. I'm not sure if they brought the clown back out this year, but they have brought out a weird kind of scarecrow prop, which I haven't seen what it does, so I'm hoping to see that in store. But it does look pretty cool, so Morrisons, thumbs up. Thumbs up for getting in on the act.
Maybe you'll survive. Tonight is the night I come to life.
The last place I want to talk about is not a store you can go to, it's an online store, and it's one of my favourites. It is Mad About Horror. Mad About Horror need massive shout out and massive props because they do what I want all stores to do in the UK, which is really invest in Halloween and bring the sorts of props that people want to see here in the UK. And this year they've outdone themselves, as well as bringing a whole host of cool Morris Costumes props to the UK. They've also brought a whole host of spirit props, and for the third, I think it might be for the first time ever, I could be wrong, Home Depot props. And as well as cool things like they brought out the Jemmy Leatherface, and also they brought out a couple of the killer clowns from Spirit Halloween, they brought this year to the UK, only in the last sort of 5 days has this been announced, the 12-foot witch from Home Depot from last year. Now, if you saw any of my videos last year, you will know that this witch was one of my favourite props of 2022. I absolutely adore this witch. I love it. She is massive, 12 foot, cool, really cool. But what was clever about this was they didn't make the witch herself 12 foot. They made the broomstick 12 foot, and she's kind of clinging onto the broomstick, almost like she's flying away, being blown away, as you like. Hanging on, she's well lit. She's got these awesome lights in the staff and in her face that light up her face. She's got the LCD eyes. She's got really cool phrases. Just a really cool, massive, imposing prop. All the things that tick all my boxes whenever I see props. And I'm not going to lie, I said last year, if this thing was available in the UK easily, I would have bought it. It's such an awesome prop. And had I known that Mad About Horror were planning to bring this into the UK, I might possibly have been tempted to save a few pennies and buy it. I don't know whether I would have done. It's very expensive. I think it's retailing right now for about £600. I don't know what it was when it was in the US. Let me know if you do know. I have no idea. But of course, here in the UK, we pay a bit of a premium for having these things imported over. So it is what it is. But just the fact that this witch is in the UK this year, and that stores like Mad About Horror are going to these levels, hoping that people here in the UK respond, is a massive, massive move, I think. It really does show how much the market for Halloween is growing in the UK, and I'm so, so glad about it. So well done, Mad About Horror, and I love that witch. I'm just poor at the minute and can't afford to buy it.
This giant 12-foot animated hovering witch is one horrifying hag with wrinkled brown skin, a long warty nose, and terrifying teeth, lurking just beneath a shock of flowing silken white hair.
Anyway, guys, I think that's tied off most of the loose ends. There are always going to be things I miss, and we haven't seen what Sainsbury's and other stores in the UK are bringing out for this year yet. That will happen probably next month. We will see. But at this moment in time, these are the props I really wanted to talk about. The best ones so far anyway, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Keep it spooky. Bye.